I mentioned about my first icebreaker, I talked about how I loved doing sports when I was growing up. Now, this love for sports had a few drawbacks, which was because of my health when I was born. And when I was born, I had two different conditions. Firstly, as asthma, and secondly is a G6PD deficiency. Asthma, as you all know, is when you get hard to breathe. Sometimes people have presuppositions of people who have asthma every time have to take out an inhaler and they get excited. Or if they do a lot of workout, then they have to puff a lot more. But for myself, asthma is not something where I have to take this every time I get excited, every time I see a movie, or every time I do sports. It's whenever I get out of breath. So growing up, when I loved doing so much sports, and for me at times sports was my life, this was my lifeline. I had to bring this everywhere, and every time I felt out of breath, instead of the movie going, I have to take a seat, take a breather, and take this to effectively push it forward. So throughout my whole life, having the inhaler with me is a necessity. When I go swimming, when I go shopping, even if I want to go to the toilet. And how this affected me is that a lot of things in my life I had to control. I couldn't watch comedy and laugh a lot. I couldn't enjoy PE as much as I want. But having asthma doesn't mean I can't truly enjoy everything. Asthma, as I said, is a lung condition. It doesn't mean that it will stop me forever. It's a breathing problem, yes. But there are ways to overcome these breathing problems. And it was thanks to my dad that most of my teenage life, I didn't have to rely so much on it. And it all comes from breathing techniques. Now, my dad sent me for swimming. He sit down with me going through all these breathing techniques so that I could enjoy my life doing sports. Now, the second thing was G6PD deficiency. Now, this is something not a lot of people know. It's not relatively new as well. G6PD deficiency, in a nutshell, is when there isn't enough glucose or a specific enzyme in my blood cells. Now, this means that there are certain things that will trigger the symptoms, such as if I were to eat broad beans or take certain medication. The biggest downside of having G6PD is that a lot of things that I want to do, which is outdoors related, is quite hard. The main reason is because the cure for all types of malaria, if I'm not mistaken, requires, the medication to treat malaria is something that would negatively affect my health. So if you grow up in a country where it's hot and wet and mosquitoes are all over the place, malaria can be a problem because malaria is only transmitted through mosquitoes. So growing up, my entire life, I always had to be cautious of having mosquitoes around the house. I always have to be cautious when I go out hiking. I always have to be cautious, even outside of Brunei. All because of this fear of getting malaria and not being able to be treated for it. Now, even though I have all this fear, this need to deal with mosquitoes, it doesn't mean that I should be living in a bubble. My parents taught me that whatever problem that you have, either it be genetic problem, whether it be a social problem, the solution is never to put yourself in a bubble, never to isolate yourself, but find a way to adapt to it. Like with my asthma and my love of doing sports, my father found a way for me to adapt so I can still live out my dream of playing sports. For my G6PD and malaria, and the fear of getting malaria, the short-term solution was to always have mosquito repellent, always have those mosquito repellent and mosquito coils to burn at night. But as long as you always have this, if you are able to adapt to any situation, and you don't always fear what you want to do, and all these would be a burden in your life. Yes, from time to time, I still need to carry this. It's still my lifeline. Yes, there is still that fear of getting malaria from a mosquito, but it doesn't mean that I should stop whatever I'm doing not pursue whatever I want just because of these. And with that, back to you, Shah.
Thank you, Mac, for that inspirational